And welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we've got another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video for you. Specifically, we're going to be doing a sight reading session on the Dr. Aphra release. Now, I am a little behind the ball on this one. Sorry, those of you that were waiting in anticipation with bated breath. But we are getting into it. We are going to do a little deep dive into this and figure out what she's got, what she's going to be offering for us moving ahead. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so first and foremost, Dr. Aphra did just drop. Today actually is the day. Today, the day that I'm recording this video, is actually when she dropped officially. So this will probably be a hair behind the official drop, folks, but you'll get it in time to be able to kind of look and see what's going on here. So we can see that she is a dark side character. She is a support character, a leader, and a scoundrel. We kind of already knew a lot about that stuff. Moving, into the future, but now we can kind of finally get into some of the details and see what she's got to offer here. So let's go ahead, because of the fact that she's a leader, let's go ahead and go down to her leadership first and check that out. So it says suspended doctorate. So if we look at this first and foremost, let's see, we do have an Omicron. And why look at this. It is an Omicron for just 5v5 Grand Arenas. I'm sure that hasn't been controversial at all. Okay, let's go ahead and fast forward to the non-Omicron version of this and see what we've got going on here. It says, at the start of battle, Dr. Aphra gains max health and max protection equal to 30% of her potency. So in that regard, she is very, very much like Tarkin. And more specifically, I would argue more like Sidious. Sidious has that exact mechanic going on with his, except that it's a much, much higher percentage. And if BT1 or Trip 0 are an ally, she gains 50% turn meter for each. That is massive, folks. We all knew whenever BT1 and Trip 0 dropped with their kit, we all knew that Dr. Aphra was going to pair with them. It was very, very obvious. But now we're just starting to see just how well they pair together and how important it is for them to be together. And this is the first example of that scenario. Basically, she's going to gain 100% turn meter. She's going to go first. She's going to be guaranteed a first turn, with the exception of things like Stormtrooper Han. He always shoots first. I would suspect that bonus turns would go before her as well. So, for instance, Watt has a bonus turn. I would imagine that he will go before she does. I'll be interested to see if you guys know details on that in the comments. Let me know. I have not seen CG make a comment on that, clarifying that as of now. I'm sure that they have, but I have not seen it yet. Dark side allies have plus 20% offense. Allied dark side droid, Darth Vader, and Chrysanthemum, that's an interesting one, also have plus 20% max health. So the fact that Chrysanthemum is in that list tells me that scoundrels are going to potentially be a combination as well here. We know that she is part scoundrel. She is also dark side. She is not Empire, though. Notice that she was not Empire, that she does not have the Empire tag. Clearly, she works well with droids, with Vader, and then Chrysanthemum obviously is that scoundrel connection. Whenever a dark side ally inflicts a debuff, they gain 5% offense for 1 turn, and Aphra gains 5 siphon until the end of the encounter. We'll come back to Siphon in a second. If the dark side ally is a droid, Darth Vader, or Chrysanthemum, they instead gain 10% offense for 1 turn, and Aphra instead gains 10 siphon until the end of the encounter. So again, it's pretty obvious, folks, that we are going to want to have at least a dark side droid, Darth Vader, or Chrysanthemum on the team. Potentially a combination of those three. Whenever Dr. Aphra, BT1, or Trip 0 inflict a debuff or are critically hit, they gain 10% turn meter. Now, we know that there are a lot of debuffs from these 3 in particular. That is going to be a turn meter train, folks. An absolute turn meter train. That is really, really good. Similar to the lines of like Palpatine. Whenever an enemy falls below 30% health, they are inflicted with Expose, and speed down for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. So already, just this leadership alone is really, really good. You've got the exposed mechanics here from the resistance, basically. You have the debuff turn meter mechanics from Palpatine. You've got offense and siphon from Slicker. Like, it's just absurd. And plus on top of that, she's basically getting a bonus turn. She's guaranteed to go before everybody else. And they're getting bonus health as well out of it. And she is getting bonus health out of it. Like, that's a really good leadership, everybody. That's a really good leadership. And we haven't talked about the Omicron yet. So let's check out the Omicron here. Darkside Droid and Darkside Scoundrel allies have plus 50% critical avoidance and plus 30 speed. Aphra has plus 50% potency. Now remember, we just talked about how they get max potency equal to, or sorry, max protection, max health and max protection, I should say, equal to 30% of her potency. Does this happen post or pre that equation? I'd be interested to see how that works. Based on the way this is worded, I would think that this potency does not have an effect on the max health and max protection. Not sure on that one, though. Whenever a Darkside Droid or Darkside Scoundrel ally inflict a debuff on an enemy, they gain 10% turn meter. So notice this is not just Darkside Droids. So if we look at this without it, whenever Dr. Aphra BT1 or 000 inflict a debuff or critically hit, they gain 10% turn meter. Whenever you add the Omicron to it, it is no longer just droids. Darkside Droid or Scoundrel ally inflict a debuff. So basically, this Omicron opens up the Scoundrels to be able to work on the team and gain all of those TM buffs as well. Limit once per turn. While enemies are debuffed, they have negative 20% tenacity. That's really good. I am intrigued to see what the ideal team is going to be with this. So, I mean, this is obviously telling us, one, the 2 droids absolutely have to be under Dr. Aphra. There's really no debating that fact. The question becomes, who are the other 2? Is it going to be Vader and Chrysanthemum? I would tend to question that. Although currently, Vader does not really have a team, because pretty much the other characters are with Starkiller. So it's possible, but Chrysanthemum tends to be with Boba Fett. So I can't imagine that those 2 are really going to be with these most commonly, but I'll be interested to see how that shakes out. Let's go ahead and take a look at her basic. Let's get into the abilities now and see how this works here. So we have just a regular old ability. It says deal special damage to target enemy. If they are a droid, stun them for 1 turn. So she's got some kind of anti-droid synergy going on here, which is interesting considering she has droid synergy. On Aphra's turn, she gains 10% max protection, stacking max 50%, and 2 siphon until the end of the encounter. So there's that siphon factor again, folks. That's important. Dangerous tech. This is, I believe, regular? This could be a Zeta. It's hard to tell. Inflict accuracy down for 2 turns on target enemy. Darkside allies gain potency up for 2 turns and 10% turn meter. That's a pretty big deal. Darkside droid allies gain critical damage up and offense up for 2 turns and recover 30% health and protection. Also a big deal. Revive a random non-separatist Darkside droid ally, BT1 and 000. That is a big deal. My goodness. At the start of battle, if there were no Galactic Legend allies and all allies are Darkside Scoundrels, this is probably an Omicron? Usually that clause is there for an Omicron. Interesting. I'm interested to see if this is an Omicron or a Zeta here. So the Darkside Scoundrels, Darkside Droids, Chrysanthemum, or Darth Vader summon a hacked commando droid. If a hacked commando droid is already present, inflict breach and target lock on target enemy for 2 turns and call hacked commando droid to assist, dealing damage again as true damage with additional damage equal to 20% of Aphra's potency. There's, again, that potency. Man, you're going to want so much potency on her. This is very much like the ARC Trooper from the 501st. It's interesting how there are so many different character kits and designs and things kind of all wrapped into one in Dr. Aphra's kit. It's really, really intriguing. Rogue Archaeology. Deal special damage to all enemies, increase their cooldowns by 1, and inflict doubt on them for 2 turns. Aphra siphons potency from target enemy, which can't be resisted. This ability can't be countered. Siphon potency. Gain a percentage of potency equal to this unit's siphon until the end of the encounter, and the target loses that much potency, stacking, excluding raid bosses and Galactic Legends. While in 5v5 Grand Arenas, another specific to 5v5 Grand Arenas. No one's going to be mad about that, I'm sure. Deal bonus damage to target enemy equal to 50% of Aphra's potency. Dear Lord. Dear Lord. Inflict buff immunity, healing immunity, and stagger on target enemy for 2 turns. This is crazy, folks. Crazy. Might I make a note? This is like Nihilus. Increasing their cooldowns. You've got Doubt, which is Malgus. And then you've got damage based on her potency, like Tarkin. Literally, there are so many different elements of so many different characters' kits all wrapped into one in here for her. It's crazy. Okay, her unique Droid Savant. At the start of Aphra's turn, she, Darkside Droid, Darkside Scoundrel, Darth Vader, and Chrysanthemum allies gain defense, offense, and tenacity equal to, you guessed it, 30% of Dr. Aphra's potency until the start of her next turn. Hacked Commando Droid ally instead gains 60%. While she is active, if BT-1 or Trip 0 are allies, they have 20% of potency and 20 speed. This is crazy, guys. The first time a Darkside Droid ally falls below 50% health, they gain protection up 40% for 2 turns. So there's additional survivability too into that. While in 5v5 Grand Arena, so one would assume again this is another Omicron. 3 Omicrons at this point from what we're seeing here, everybody. The first time a non-separatist Darkside Droid or Darkside Scoundrel ally falls below 20% health, they gain damage immunity for 1 turn. That's really good. Whenever a Darkside Droid is defeated, they inflict a damage over time on all enemies for 2 turns. Inflict an additional damage over time for 2 turns for each relic level that character has. Remember, folks, people are gaining turn meter based on debuffs. So if you damage them and you don't kill them, they get damage immunity, you immediately get debuffed, and they immediately gain a ton of turn meter. And then they're going to take a bunch of turns. And if you do kill them, she can revive them. What? This is crazy. Aphra, non-separatist Darkside Droids, Darkside Scoundrels, and Chrysanthemum are immune to ability block and healing immunity. And there's Chewbacca's kit. This is insane, folks. Absolutely insane. What a crazy kit. Okay, Hack Commando Droid. This is the summoned unit. Basic. Deal physical damage to target enemy. All allies without offense up gain offense up for 2 turns. Special 2. Besiege. Deal physical damage to target enemy and call a random ally to assist. Lunging Strike. Deal deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict armor shred for the rest of the battle. That's really good. This attack deals 20% more damage for each buff and debuff on the target enemy. And we know there's going to be a lot of debuffs. Enemies defeated by this ability can't be revived. That's huge. Unique. It has a unique. Good God. This unit's stats scale with the summoner's stats. Oh, that makes sense. This unit can only be summoned to the ally slot if it's available. This unit can't be summoned in raids. This unit can't be revived. If an effect counts defeated units, this unit doesn't count. When there are no other allied combatants, this unit escapes from battle, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is your typical summoned unique. Okay, that's nothing crazy. Man, what an insane kit. So she is clearly heavily potency based. I'm curious. We're gonna look at my roster real quick. I mentioned that Sidious, she reminds me a lot of Sidious's kit in terms of the health aspect of things. So my Sidious, I specifically have modded to be super duper tanky. And by doing that, I've just modded him for a bananas amount of potency. You do see I do have some health mods there. It's just, meh. It's what I had to do. His potency is at 134, roughly 135%. Think about the health, the protection, the damage that she's going to be doing if she has percentages like this, folks. The defense. There were so many stats that she gains from potency. If you get her modded like this, and again, this is not amazing. I could make this even better than I have. It's almost plus 90% potency. We're talking an insane amount of stats for her, folks. Plus the all of the different aspects of all these other different characters' kits and everything, all baked into what she has. Like, it's amazing. She is going to have an absolutely phenomenal kit and going to be phenomenal with at least the two other droids. We're kind of yet to see what other two characters fit best on her team. Certainly seems like they're trying to push Chrysanthemum and Vader, but we'll see how that kind of pans out as she is released into the wild. All right, everybody, that'll pretty much wrap us up here for today. If you liked what you saw, hope that you guys would give me a thumbs up. Also, if you would like to catch more that we put out here on this channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. Last but not least, if you'd like to join the live discussion and or check out the live GAC matches, you guys can check out our Discord and our Twitch links down below in the video description. All right, everybody, catch you next time.